So let's start, guys. So once again, good evening. I'll be your coach of the night. I'm Harvey Spence, and I'll be talking about that first time that we will have to undergo soon. And it's all about acing those interviews. So, first off, of course, we wanted this class to be more engaging. I wanted to ask this question. Will it be your first time having interview probably in the next few days, in the next few weeks or months perhaps, but will it be your first time? Please answer in the chat box, guys. Is it a yes or a no? So we have yes, some no. All right. Yes, yes. Actually, there has been a lot of people who are saying yes. Okay. Oh, some of them also experience mock interviews. So that's actually nice. That's experiential. All right, thank you so much, guys. I really love um your participation. I really like that you are so active. Now, moving on to the second question. What is one thing you do not like during interviews? For those who actually experience, mock interviews or interviews perhaps, you can answer this. But for those who do not, maybe you wanted to give an idea, or you wanted to assume what is one thing you do not like during interview. So put it in the chat box, because of course I'll be reading them. Pressure enabler. Late, being nervous, being nervous, waiting, perform, nervousness, the trick questions. Yes, actually, the trick question. I kind of hate them though. Nervousness. A lot of you are saying nervous. Mental block, even if you're prepared enough. People, the anxiety, the accent of the interviewer, the HR being moody. Guys, I won't tell these secrets, all right? All right, nervousness. Many follow-up questions. That's for some. I don't like terror interviewer. Eye contact, pressure. Thank you so much, guys. You have a lot of answers in the chat box. Cannot call myself, of course, panicking. Thank you so much. All right. So there are still a lot of questions moving on, and I would love to hear it from you guys. So without further ado, let's move on to the third question. What do you feel before the interview starts? So I think some of you already answered this one, like nervousness, that anxiety perhaps. But for those who missed out, that element of feeling, what do you feel before the interview starts? So some anxious, cold sweat, second voice, pressure, nervous pressure, excited, exciting now. That's so cool. Because you know what? When I do interviews, or like I'm the one who will be interviewed, there's no excitement in there. Not for me. I'm actually nervous and pressured. Cold feet, I can't answer the question as faster as I can. Excessive sweating. Thank you so much. How about you, Coach Jules? Let's be interactive for this for tonight. How about you? What do you feel before the interview starts?
A lot of things I feel that are not normal. Like there's a lot of birds in my chest, and there's
I know.
this shaking of knuckles, like I was doing a marathon.
Yes, yes. Some actually said here hungry. Oh my goodness. Hungry, sweating, afraid. Some are sending emojis. Thank you so much. All right. So I won't read everything because there's still a lot. And I think that's it for our icebreaker question. So the reason why all of us are here gathered, and it's because we wanted to know more about our tips and tricks how to perform well during interviews. That's why we wanted to ace that interview, even if it's our first time, even if it's our, like we are repeating repeaters already for the interview. But you know what, interviews are just like every oral presentation that you have done. It's except it's more about yourself. So for this online class, I welcome you to have these learning outcomes, which is the first one. We wanted to understand the parts of a job interview, and you will be surprised, guys. Um, what are the parts of a job interview? Actually, they are just basic, but knowing what parts of the job interview matters the most, it would be very crucial to ace that interview. For the second one, we wanted to conceptualize the answers to the interview questions being asked. And by conceptualizing, I'll be needing all of your answers later on. So prepare your keyboard perhaps so that you can type your, let's say, your mock answers for the interview question that I'll be posting later on. Because we wanted to conceptualize together here as a family of 693 participants. So thank you so much. So under this, we wanted to answer this kind of question. How should I answer the interview questions being asked of me? Because there are trick questions like you guys mentioned. There are some questions that matters the most. There are some questions that we can make a script of. So yeah, we'll discuss that later on because we still have all of the time. Then lastly, we wanted to identify the must-have qualities and demeanor of you guys, the job applicants, or whatever that interview would be, whether it be a job, an internship, volunteer experience perhaps, or a school club. So that's gonna ace that interview. All right. So I wanted to first emphasize to you guys that the first step of acing the interview is mindset. I know it's not in the learning outcome because I actually put this part because I really wanted to, implement this kind of mindset for all of you who are here. All right, okay. So the first off here is mindset. And this is the first thing that I will say to you for all of you guys joining here in this online class. The fact that you received an interview schedule means that you have a chance. I am very humbled to say that in my previous commitments up until now, I was able to engage myself in HR or human resource officer task, and one of those is to interview people who will be getting a position. One of it is in my current workplace, and one is in an organization that I volunteer abroad. And this is what I've learned. The fact that you received an interview schedule means that you have the chance. What chance is that? That you have the chance to share that talent that you have. Because you know what, guys, as someone in the HR department or someone who is in the other side of the coin, which is in the organization, we won't schedule interviews if we think you don't have it. We think that you don't have the chance. So I think that's very, inspiring enough to remind all of us here that the fact that we are receiving an interview schedule from our employer, our potential employer, means that we have a chance. And that's the first point of my mindset that I wanted to inculcate to all of you who are here. The second one is the fact that you received an interview schedule means that you have something to offer. The interview schedule is set. The employer is looking forward to meet you. And why is that? Because he or she thinks that you have something to offer to the table, to the organization, to the company, with whatever you think that you have applied for. If you have a chance to be hired, thank you so much, guys. If you have, if you have any insights, I'd be happy to read them here. So the fact that you received an interview schedule means that you have something to offer, that you are, that you are capable of it. Because I know there are some applicants perhaps here, knowing that this is their first time, they would self-depreciate immediately. Oh, maybe, I'm too bad for it, or I'm too, I just don't know how to do that. But the fact that you received an interview schedule means that you are capable enough because you have something to offer. And that's the second mindset that I wanted to inculcate with you guys. The third one, thank you so much, Sheila. There is something good about you. That's true. Now, the third one is The fact that you received an interview schedule means that you belong and you have a chance to belong in the organization. You belong, it's because maybe you have the qualities written in your resume or in your application letter that resonated with them. And that means that you can belong, that you belong sooner or later. And let's claim that. So that's the third mindset that I'll be that I introduced to you. So thank you so much. Yeah, you have an edge, and these mindset will really help you to get to that, part where we ace that interview. Because honestly, you won't ace that interview if you think that you're not capable of it or you're not built for it. So the first step of all would be the mindset. And this is what I wanted to introduce to you guys. Thank you so much, Roji. All right. So don't worry, guys. I'll be reading because I have the chat box in the corner of my screen. So don't worry. Now, moving forward, the second is the parts. And this is very interesting because we think that the interview is just, a 10-minute interview that would last for like, yeah, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or 30 minutes, or an hour perhaps. But actually, there are a lot of underlying and overlapping parts in an interview. So allow me to, discuss this parts with you. So the second one is parts. So the first part would be this one. The first part of the interview is the time prior to the interview itself. So you don't think that the interview is just, that interview. Interview would also mean prior to the interview itself. All right. And your responsibility for this part, because of course, interview is, the avenue for you, for yourself and the employer, you as an possible employee and them as an employer. That's the avenue for you guys to collaborate, to find what things that we can work out together, you guys. And your responsibility on the other side of the coin is to do the following. First, we have gathering information. Second, preparing questions. Third, practicing those questions, of course. Fourth, ensuring a professional personal appearance. Fifth, bringing materials, whether it be virtual or physical, it depends, but this is also applicable to whatever style or medium of interview that you will be doing. Next is arriving on time, but actually let's omit that on time. Let's agree with arriving before the agreed time. We'll discuss that later on. Lastly, turning off distractions, whether it be phone or someone, knocking at your door, or, the dogs out there, if that's virtual, or, distractions like your phone if you are in a physical interview. So we'll discuss these 2, 4, 6, 7 responsibilities prior to the interview. And you know what? This will be very interesting because there will be questions later on. So let's proceed with your responsibility prior to the interview itself, because it's part of the interview as a whole. So first, we have gathering information. Now, we wanted to identify what needs to be gathered here, what information needs to be gathered here. And there are 3 things that we wanted to gather. All right. First, we have the organization or the company that we are applying for, the profession or the position that you're applying for, then you yourself as the applicant. All right. So remember, for my Filipino students here in the online class, remember OPM. All right, organization, profession, and myself. 'Cause that's, like the acronym of it, OPM. And also, like for those who are not Filipinos as well. All right. So first off, we have organization. Why do we want to gather organization or information about organization? It's the organization that we are applying for, the company. Now, this is it. If we research about the organization, we can exhibit knowledge about the organization itself and convey proper preparation, enthusiasm for the position, and a desire to become part of the organization. It's like, doing an effort, and then actually it's not like you're literally doing an effort to gather information, and that will be really appreciated by your employer, because most of the trick questions start with this question: how did you find the organization, or why in this organization? What do you know about the organization or the company? Because these are some of, like, um icebreaker question or trick question that you need to know, and you can only know that if you gather information that much by the organization, because it will exhibit knowledge, with your knowledge about the organization that you really research. And I think that's way understandable as to why we need to research the organization. But personally, I would like to give you this kind of personal tip. What do you need to research while you're researching for the organization? Will you research way back how the organization started? What year was it in? Who were the founders back then, or the board of directors? Well, for me, not necessarily. What I really look into information about the organization is their VMGs, or what we call the vision, mission, and goals. VMGs, and the clients or beneficiaries that they are currently servicing. And that's, I think, more than enough for you guys to be able to nail the interview. Because the reason why we wanted to gather information for the organization is whether we can assess personally if the organization is fit for us. All right. And we can basically know if we are fit for the organization, like in face value, if we know the vision, mission, and goals. The vision being, what the company is envisioning in the future. Mission being what are the steps, or what are, the components to achieve that vision. And then the goals, those little goals to help the vision and mission to be achieved. And if that's something that you can resonate with, I think you will nail the interview. And of course, knowing the client and beneficiaries that you're servicing, because this is very crucial. Knowing who you will serve sooner or later would give you an idea how the organization will communicate, how the organization stands for itself based on the client and beneficiaries that they are servicing. So now, before we skip on to the next slide, of course, I want to ask this question. What is something that the organization has that made you apply for it? For those who are currently, like searching for a job, and they already sent their application letters, their resume, and they probably received an interview or probably not. But what is something that the organization has that made you apply for that organization? All right. So I'll be waiting your answers in the chat box. What is something that the organization has that made you apply for it in the first place? I've seen Rodilin, internship, Poseidon, good reputation. Keep it coming, guys. I'll be waiting. Good pay, career development, salary, good salary, benefits, strong employer brand, have a good mission and vision, hardworking, personal growth, skills that I am capable of, work environment, career growth and compensation, the good image and the goal of the company, skills, work environment, experience, no backer system, benefits, workmate. So this is a lot, guys. You know what? Thank you so much. All right. Professional relationship to enhance our skills to gain our knowledge. Thank you so much, guys. Your answers are so overwhelming. Thank you so much for your participation. Now, this reflective question: what is something that the organization has that made you apply for it? My personal tip for this one is, of course, the thing that I just discussed a while ago. which is the VMGs. Employers would really appreciate it if you can mention the VMGs, that, you know what, it resonated within me, um, the vision of the company, and I really think that I can help, actualize this vision, because I have this, what, skills that could contribute to the mission. So that's how it will be sooner or later. Just a bonus tip that I will give to you. It will always be the vision, mission, and goals of the company, because it's something that they will respect from you, that they would really, wow, this person really internalized what the vision, mission, and goals of our company would have. All right. So thank you so much. All right. Of course, salary, of course, that's, our personal reasons. But once in our interview, we we wanted to really, you know, go beyond what is expected from you. And that would be putting their vision, mission, and goals by heart. All right. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. Don't worry, because we still have a lot of questions. All right. Yeah, with Sheila, how the organization taking care of their employees. This is actually a good factor that you should look at as an applicant. Um, that you appreciate how the organization is taking care of uh, its employees. All right, thank you so much. Now, the second one, we have profession. What is this profession is? So he wanted to research about the profession, which is he wanted to know the job title. That's very important, because that will first reflect in your resume or CV. Once you will go to greener pastures if you will move out. So job title is important. The position or the job title, the responsibilities, way more important. The needed knowledge, skills, abilities, and other matters, which is um, it stands for the KSAO. So you wanted to know more about these things, about that profession or that occupation that is offered. All right. And this can be found in the job description shown to you beforehand. Because I'm pretty sure hiring people who are hiring, um, they would show job description, but for some they don't. So try to really research about this one, the profession, which is title, the KSAOs, the responsibilities, the position, and anything about the profession that you will go. And why is that? Because we wanted to internalize how you can be a good match to the need of the position. You don't just apply for a position because it sounds good or the title sounds so good that, oh wow. No, that's not the case, guys. All right. You wanted to search for the profession because you wanted to identify where or what bullet points indicated there wherein you can contribute or wherein you can help upskill yourself. All right. So internalize the profession, the job description, anything, because you wanted to know that you're a good match to the need of the position. You can do it. All right. Which leads me now to this one. What is something that the job position has that made you apply for it? So in the previous slide, what is something that the job or what is something that the organization has that made you apply for it? But for this slide, which I'll be soliciting from you guys, what is something that the job position has that made you apply for it? Skills, we have KSAOs. Anyone, any takers? I am hardworking, and if you need my service, I'm always here. That's so heartfelt. Skills, I would say that my skills is fit for the certain position, enhanced skills. Keep it coming, guys. I'll be waiting, of course. Yeah, wow, you guys have a good answers. Wow. Do you still need me here? Just kidding. Yeah. KSAOs, the growth, the upskilling, for you to know where you can fit your knowledge and mental capabilities. That's true. Opportunities and expand knowledge and skills. Ability to improve communication skills, gain knowledge from the company, hone me how to handle that, improve communication, where I can apply my learnings, vacancy, in line with my skills and capabilities. It, it is related to the course that I finished, to do my passion, bigger opportunity, competitive, improve my skills, promotion. I see this opportunity to contribute to the company. This is a lot. Thank you so much, guys. Now, if you allow me to answer this reflective question, the answer for this one would be, of course, the KSAOs. I've seen someone answering this, and I've seen a lot answering this. But aside from the KSAOs, because the KSAOs are just basic answers, what is something that the job position has that made you apply for it? And I've seen some people answering this. You dive in for that job because you have the skills, that's number one, and you wanted to improve the skills by applying those skills. And I think that's way more humbling for the employer to know, all right, that you have what it takes to do the position, to do the responsibilities of that position. At the same time, you have the humility to upskill yourself and to improve yourself while you're servicing, you're extending service for the organization. All right. So that is something that the job position has that made you apply for it. And of course, all of your answers in the chat box, I really appreciate that because it will create, tidbits of your answers. But what you should, what you should reflect in your answers, if ever this will, this will be asked of you sooner or later, you might want to answer that you see it as a two-way relationship, that you see the company having value to add to your skill, at the same time you having value to them. All right. Thank you so much, May Lori. All right. Thank you so much for summarizing it. Thank you so much, guys. All right, moving on. Now, this is the very interesting part, I think. Why do we want to gather information about ourselves? Do we stalk ourselves online? How we do this? So it's kind of interesting to put this bullet point here to gather information, but actually it's erroneous to say that you wanted to gather information about yourself. It's more of like reflecting what you should answer or what you should, put into your mind once you will do interviews. And we wanted to gather information, quote unquote, gather information about ourselves because we wanted to articulate properly what we want to convey to our employers. And these are the following questions. All right. So we will answer this guy. What are my greatest strengths? And how am I using them and developing them? What are my greatest strengths? What are your greatest strengths, guys? That's the first question. Don't answer first the how am I using them and developing. Sorry. What are your greatest strengths? Communication skills. Thank you so much, Carlo. Keep it coming, guys. I know it will be a lot and I'll be overwhelmed. Solving math. Yes, problem solver. Active listening. Is my self, attitude, and behavior, hardworking, collaboration, analytical skills, artistic. I haven't found my greatest strength. That's fine, all right? For those who haven't found their greatest strength, it hasn't been found yet, of course, but there is, all right? Communication skills, of course, full dedication on work. You know what, guys? Employers really love people who have strong work ethics, like full dedication on work. And by work ethics, I need to say that you're good at, you're just really good at doing your job. And it shows with your work ethics. Confidence, yes, that's nice. Empathy, computer literate, personality, can get along with people easily. willingness to learn speaking in front of people, working hard. Exactly. The attitude to listen for advice is hardworking and catch up with fastly, determined and passionate. Attention to detail, open-minded, analytical skills. Yeah, guys, you have a lot of answers. Oh, sorry. Um, wait. Okay. The ability to get along with a coworker, easy to adapt. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for participating. It's really nice to hear it from you. Now, if you want to answer this question, you can, of course, all of these answers that I've received in the chat box, they are all correct. But of course, we wanted to take note that our greatest strengths should be relevant to the job we are applying for, so that it will be highlighted in a brighter light. It will be useful in the job. So for example, what are your greatest strengths as, let's say, as a mental health professional, because I'm a mental health professional, my greatest strength would be active listening, doing, empathic, nonverbal, signals, especially online, and being able to paraphrase things at, just one sitting. Paraphrasing indicates that you are listening. That's why you are able to paraphrase. So that's my greatest strength. And how am I using them and developing them? Of course, applying it and hearing it from other people as well to do it to me. So, you know, um, experiencing it from other people so that I can develop myself further on. So for every greatest strength that you have, indicate how you use them and develop them. All right. Patience for CSR. So moving on, we have the second one. The second question, and I hope you guys will answer this because this is really hard, but I really encourage everyone, hopefully everyone, although I might not be able to, read everything. What are my greatest failures and what did I learn from them? It's very philosophical, I know, but some people, some employers actually ask this in a form of what is my greatest weakness, what is my weakness. I lose motivation easily, speaking English, bad decisions, low self-esteem, wrong decisions, self-doubt, my low self-esteem, trusting too much, being perfectionist, empathy, easy to be disappointed. It's difficult for me to communicate fluently and my nervousness would come first more than my skills. Procrastinating too much, low self-esteem, fluent, sensitive. I waste my skill for not working in your company. Shy, self-doubt. If I cannot solve any problems of the company, disappointment, being impulsive. My greatest fear is to commit a mistake to the point of bringing the company down. Easily discouraged, not to be able to know the needs of someone. Afraid of taking risks. Afraid to disappoint employees. Confidence. I wait my skill. As I am reading, guys, I hope all of the audience here, all of the students here, are also following the chat box, because maybe some of the weakness or some of the failures could resonate with you. Okay, there's confidence, overthinker, easily disappointed. I feel like I'm not good enough and I might fail at work, stuttering, a lack of confidence, time management, judgment, afraid of rejection, being useless, lack of confidence, not too much talk to my office mate because I'm very focused on my work. When I speak in front of many people, low confidence. Guys, I've been seeing patterns. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I've seen two, like emerging themes, big themes here. First off, the fluency. I don't know what kind of language is that. I think English. It's safe to assume English. Fluency. That's one. And then the second one is more on, the perception that we have within ourselves. So imagine, that's why the first step for every acing to ace the interview is mindset. And that's really perspective and not independent. Thank you so much, guys, for answering. I'm really humbled by your answer. I can't speak English fluently. I think some of you might say this is just, like a segue, an off-topic discussion. I think some of you here would say that I am fluent in English, but I really started somewhere. All right. I had to talk to a lot of people with different accent, with different intonation, with different culture before I was able to talk like, with the kind of talking that I do right now. So it really takes guts, and I really appreciate you guys for telling this kind of failure or weakness that you have. But remember, we all started somewhere. What matters the most is where we will end. And that's, in your case, fluency. All right? I can't think of a greatest failure. I made mistakes, but I think they are not a failure at all. Thank you so much, Rihanisha. That's so true. Because sometimes I don't know if can I know some of the people here who have attended last Sunday session with me, because I was discussing resilience back then last Sunday, and I like what Rihanisha mentioned here. I made mistakes, but I think they are not failure at all. So thank you so much. All right, thank you so much, guys, for sharing. And I totally agree. Some of your greatest failure could be overwhelming, could be discouraging, demotivating. But you know what? Employers ask this if they will ask this. Employer would ask this because they wanted to know how or what are the things that you learned from that experience. It's not the failure per se, but it's the learning that you had with the failure, quote unquote. That's true, Mark. My greatest failure is also my greatest strength. This is, you know what, guys? This is a game changer because I think some employers would expect, like, you will treat failure as a failure, but it will be game changing if you will treat failure as a strength, which I will be discussing later on. But you know what? I am just so amazed that some of you have cracked the code already. So thank you so much. All right. My greatest failure is not trusting my own decision, but trusting other people is my strength. Thank you so much, Yasi. All right. So we still have a lot of questions. It's a lot of discussion. So I'll proceed. This one. What are my greatest achievements and what did I learn from them? So in the previous question, we were talking about failure, but do not focus on the failure. Focus on what you learned from that experience, from that failure. And you can actually frame it as something as your strength. All right? There's no such thing as failure, only learned experience. Thank you so much. What are my greatest achievements? What did I learn from them? All right, keep it coming. Yeah, Gizmic actually, framed the failure into some of his or her greatest achievement, which is so cool. I would totally agree. I can easily attach to someone who pumps my heart immensely. This is one of my achievements. However, it gives me inspiration. That's my failure. That's so beautiful. Passing the board exam after 2 failures. Congratulations, Chames. When I allow myself to feel contented no matter what. Guys, your answers are so philosophical, to be honest, and these amaze me. Because I can't think of greatest achievements for my own, but you guys value those achievements, even how little. But remember, whatever your greatest achievements that you will mention, always emphasize what you learn from it. Because it's not the achievement itself, but the learning that you will have. Okay? You can mention, okay, being on top of the class. Yes, that's achievement. But what particular like quality or experience in getting that achievement is, like something crucial to you? What's something that you learn from it? So that's what you wanted. That's where you want to dive in deeper, the learning. Because other applicants would have the same greatest achievements like you, being on top of the class, being like this and like that, attaining this, saving money, perhaps, like any greatest achievement. Your greatest achievement could be as common as to anyone else, to everybody else. But what will be unique to you is your reasoning, which is what you learn from them, your achievement. All right. Thank you so much for answering. Now, moving on, we still have question. Now, for this one, what are my short-term professional goals and how will they be achieved? So this is quite very, let's not say technical, but it's more like it it would really make you feel like you really have to think about your future. And by that, your short-term professional goals and also your long-term professional goals. So these questions will be asked of you. And the reason the employers will be asking for this one is so that they will have a grasp as to how you will be acting out in the company in the longer run. Will the company be able to help you in your short-term goals? Will the company help you in the long-term goals? So that's why we are asking you for this one. All right. How will they be achieved? And you really need to say this, how you will achieve this. And your answer should be or has something to do with your application to the company. Because if, let's say, in the short-term goal and the long-term goal, of course, let's just, summarize these two terms into one. But if you are, let's say, if you are a graphic designer, if you are aspiring to be a graphic designer in the next 5 years, but you are applying for, let's say, for a teaching job, perhaps, or instructor job, or for a research position, the organization will have, will have that question mark. Why are you applying to our company or for this position if your main goal is to become a graphic designer? So there should be a match every time you answer about goals and your long term, whether it be long term or short term. And you have to be specific about how they will be achieved. So that's it for this. Thank you so much. Now, moving on, that's just the first part. I know, we still have a lot to discuss, but sooner if this will be smooth. So that's just it. Gathering information is very important prior to the interview. It will really give you a good image to the company or the organization, to the profession that you're applying for, and to yourself. That's why gather information as much as you can, because it will be your source of, your answers later on. So thank you so much. I really appreciate those answering in the chat box. Now, the second and third responsibility is preparing questions and practicing them. Now, for preparing questions and practicing questions, we have the common ones. Why should we hire you? So allow me to skip this one because actually this is very obvious based on the conversation that we had in the previous slide. Your answer should be that you should be hired because of your KSAOs. Because you have it, that you're capable of it. And you have the experience as well. And the VMGs. Because the VMGs would reflect your principles, your way of living, perhaps, your values. All right. To match your KSAOs, your experiences, and VMGs with the position that you're applying for. Don't, I've seen a meme for this one. Why should we hire you? And the answer, the meme answer was because you're hiring. So that's totally wrong, guys. Please don't answer that. All right. So just kidding aside. So don't answer that. So um answer these like KSAOs, experience, and VMGs. Now, you can also answer it with this mutually beneficial. I've mentioned this a while ago. Express what you can uniquely offer and what the position can uniquely offer to you. It will always be beneficial, mutually beneficial. All right. Um, I've also mentioned this a while ago when it comes to what you can improve for the company and or the organization. What are the things that you can improve on inside the company, and what how that position can improve you as a person. Yeah. Thank you so much for answering. Now I've seen answers like, for example, um I would be your biggest asset to your company. This is true. All right. This is true only if you can mention your KSAOs, your experience, and the vision, mission, and goals. If you will be asked with this question, you have to be as specific as possible. You don't you don't want to be vague. You don't want to claim it without citing evidence, which is your KSAOs, your experience, your VNGs. All right. All right. Thank you so much, guys. I have a hard time back reading. So moving forward, we had the second one. What are your weaknesses? So we've discussed this a while ago. Mention a weakness and how you're overcoming it. Okay. So someone asked, what is KSAOs? That's the knowledge, skills, abilities, and other things related to you. All right. Now, you wanted to mention a weakness that can also be considered as a strength. And state a weakness that is unrelated to the job. If you're applying for, let's say, a graphic designing position, but you don't know what is graphic design, so that could be a weakness. You don't want to say that, um, you know what, I'm applying for this position, but I don't know how to, do graphic design. You don't want to say that because that is related to the job. So you say anything, say any weakness that is unrelated to the job. Because what the employer is actually asking for this one is how you will perform later on given your weaknesses and how fully aware you are with the weakness. To be honest, guys, one of the hardest question that I have faced is this question. What is your strength that can also be your weakness? So imagine, what's a strength that I have that can also be my weakness? So I'm pretty sure only few employers do that because that question was thrown to me in a different, in a different country. So it's not really like an Asian one. So thank you so much. What was my answer? To be honest, and please don't bash me for it, but I answered, I think, being too kind to other people, because being too kind helps me reach out to other people in the most authentic way possible, but at the same time, it becomes weakness because people abuse me. And I think some of you guys can relate with this one. Thanks for being vulnerable, coach. Of course, I've always believed that vulnerability is ability because there is ability in vulnerability. So that's a very interesting question, right? What is your strength that can also be your weakness? That could be a starting point as to where you wanted to dive in deeper about your weakness. Because it can also be used the other way around. What is your weakness that can consider be as a strength? My weakness is fear of other people because during my time in high school, I was always bullied. All right. So sad to hear from you, Julian. All right. Not confident with familiar things that runs in your company, but this weakness of mine is currently helping me. It's currently helping me to motivate to learn more. That's true. Employers really appreciate if you answer this question honestly. All right. What you have to do is to make sure that you can overcome it and you can consider it as a strength. And at the same time, it's really not that related to the job. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. We still have a lot to cover. And of course, my note before we move on, never be ashamed of your weakness or your weaknesses. Be proud of it because it's where you will learn a lot. It's where you will know that you still have a lot to improve on. It would be boring. Life would be so boring if you only have strength, to be honest. Life would be so boring. Thank you so much, guys, for answering. Now, moving on to question number 3. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now, 10 years from now? And this is related to that long-term goal and short-term goal that we have just discussed. And we wanted to talk about our professional growth and ambition because this is work. I mean, it would be lovely for you to mention personal stuff, but it should be mainly about work. I don't think getting married is relevant. You know, mentioning that you will be getting married 10 years from now, you will have a baby. It's not, it's not related. So professional growth, make sure that that growth that you're seeking for, the company can help you. And your application to the company or your, like being accepted in the company would help you in that professional growth that you are eyeing for. Okay? And be realistic, concrete, and specific about them. I've seen Mark be smart. This is so true, actually. I would agree. Smart. I hope you guys know what smart is. It's not the phone's carrier here in the Philippines, but it's the SMART goals. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Make sure that that what you will explain will make the organization feel included about this. This is what I'm trying to say. That your company or that company that you're applying for should feel that they can be involved in this. Because once you get hired, your boss, your supervisor will actually ask you, okay, what's your plan? How will we help you? And that's what the organization is for, to really get you through that next job perhaps or next career growth that you will be aiming for. So let your company feel included for that. I've been seeing a lot of answers. 10 years from now, I have the highest position in my job that I have worked hard for. 5 years from now, I have open restaurant. That's so nice. Thank you so much, guys. Now, I'll give you some personal tips how to prepare and practice questions. And this is the first one. If you are being asked any type of questions, situational, whatever it is, of course, except the demographics like your name, your age, those are basic information. But if you will be asked about experiences, or anything, always try to back your answers with past experiences at most. Even if it's just a volunteering opportunity, an internship, how small that experience is, but it should be a past experience. And you can use the STAR model for this. I'll explain the STAR model later on. Now, if you really do not have work experiences, for those who do not have work experiences, try to at least highlight volunteer internship experience, relevant educational background or training or certification perhaps, or your VNGs, which would reflect the person organizational fit. Because the person organizational fit would try to measure here if you are fit for the organization, like as a person carrying attributes or attitude or behaviors perhaps or mindset. So try to highlight that. But the first priority for this one is past experiences, whether it be work, volunteering, internship. Okay. Thank you so much. Now, the STAR model here that I just mentioned is this. The STAR model stands for situation, task, action, and result. If you will be asked, okay, do you have previous experiences, like, let's say, helping other people because you're applying for a mental health, startup or a professional, mental health professional um, position. So, oh yeah, actually, I have experiences during my college year. It's a volunteer position, and what we did was that, okay, so you will mention the situation, the task that you were tasked to do this as a volunteer, and then what you did, like the action itself, what happened, and then the result, what's the outcome of it. So that's a STAR model. All right, okay. So that's the STAR model. And then the second one, the second tip that I'll give you for this is rehearse the idea and do not memorize. This will make you sound organic, genuine, and authentic. I know you will be preparing for interview questions, but do not memorize your answer for the interview question. Let's say, what are your greatest strengths? Do not memorize it word per word because your employer would notice. And as much as we would like to compliment you for really preparing to memorize all of these, it would not be genuine enough. And that question is actually very important. And we don't want you guys to sound scripted. So rehearse the idea, but do not memorize. Only memorize probably your introductory spiel that tells the simple details about you. Like, hi guys, good afternoon, good evening, or good afternoon, sir, good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Harvey Spence. Like this and like that. I graduated with a bachelor of like this and like that. I have been like this and like that. So you can memorize that, your introductory spiel, but not your answers to some of the question. So just rehearse the idea in your mind, know what you will answer, but do not memorize it. Arrange it just as a concept there in your mind so that once the question will be asked of you, you can just pull it immediately from your head. So this is my tip. Have a concept map, perhaps to arrange ideas or concepts to make your thoughts seamless without being scripted. Okay? So the important thing here is we want it to be seamless without being scripted. That's why let's rehearse the idea. Let's have a concept map of it, but do not memorize. And this is what I really do. So that there is that, genuine pause. You can look at your around the room or not just immediately to your employer, to the one interviewing you. And that's it, sorry. And when you're thinking for an answer, you can gaze your eyes from somewhere else. Don't just stare at your employer because that would be kind of weird that you're trying to brew answers, but you're staring at him or her, or you're just gazing your eyes to him or her. So you can move your eyes around, especially when you're kind of thinking, and then you go back to the employer. Once again, if you feel like you wanted to emphasize something, because that would give nonverbal cues that, okay, he or she is really thinking about this very much with effort. Right. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you so much, guys. Now, the next thing is ensuring a professional personal appearance. I know you have an idea about this one, but how will you dress then? So explain them in detail in the chat box below. What do you think is the best attire for you guys during the interview? Corporate attire. I've seen people proper formal. It depends on the job you're applying for. Semi-formal, don't wear slippers. Professional, formal. Thank you so much, guys. Looks decent, yes. Wear shoes, of course. Professional. Now, to answer this question, thank you so much, guys. The answer to this one is dressing one step above how you would generally dress for the position if hired. So just a little above of what is required of you. That's basically what this is trying to say. Just a little. And kindly check the following: your clothing, your hairstyle, perhaps, tattoos, jewelry, makeup, and hygiene. So dress according to the position that you are applying for. And I saw that in the chat box just a while ago. Attire that fits for the position. That's true. It would be kind of, comical if you overdress to the point that your your dress is, in comparison with the CEOs. So that would be kind of absurd. So kindly dress according to, what is expected of you. Dress for the position you're applying for. Dress like you respect the manager. This is cool. Now, moving on, bringing materials. Bringing materials, whether it be virtual or physical, we wanted to prepare ourselves with additional copies of your resume. Have a copy in your computer or in your laptop, there, reachable, because maybe he or she would ask, okay, can you pull your resume, share it to the screen so you can pull it immediately. Paper and writing utensils besides you so that you can jot down notes. And then lastly, a list of questions to ask the interviewer. Okay? So I'm going to discuss this later on, the list of questions to ask for the interviewer. I've been seeing your jokes. Thank you so much. Now, arriving on time, but we're crossing on time here, but arriving before the agreed time. And that's really important because we don't want employers waiting for us. Then turning off distraction, I think this is really understandable. Turn off your phone, isolate yourself if you're in a noisy place, any distractions so that the interview would be seamless and you can only focus on the interview. Okay. Now, that's just the prior parts of the interview. What should we do during the interview, guys? So I'm going to brief you with the 5 parts of the interview proper. And that is the introduction, small talk, information gathering, question and answer, and the follow-up, and the wrapping up. So first off, we have introduction and small talks. This is where we will introduce, exchange our names. And you know what, guys? This is actually the opening moment. And the opening moment is crucial to the success of the interview. And I've always believed in this. Because I've seen applicants coming to me and they are not as excited as it seems, that they are not proud to have this moment. So what you will be giving is really first impression in those opening moments. So really try to, just do that rapport. I've seen someone to build rapport. Actually, technically and ideally, the interviewer should build rapport to you, but you will be more appreciated if you can establish rapport to them. And this is game changing because employers could adjust to your vibe. Employers could match your vibe. And if your vibe is, you know what, jolly, exciting, employers would really appreciate that. But if you're gloomy, if you feel like you're just applying for this for the sake of applying, employers wouldn't want you guys. And that can be seen in the opening moment. So once you turn on that camera, once you get inside that room, give that moment a really strong one, that opening moment, the introduction and small talks. Okay. So seize the first few minutes by appropriate greeting. Hi, sir. Hi, ma'am. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me. All those really kind words that you don't have to say it in a fake way, because of course we don't want to hear that. Really try to say it by heart that you really mean it. The second one is being responsive. If the interviewer has questions, indicate that you are listening, that give a nod perhaps, or yes, yes sir, yes ma'am. Oh, you know what, just say anything that is responsive to the interviewer. And small talks happen so that the interview can, give a grasp as to how you are with yourself, how comfortable you are with yourself. That's why there are small talks. There's small talks there. Like, how are you? Oh, what did you do during the day? And be responsive about that. Be honest and let's not, I don't think talkative is the right term, but just be expressive about it. That, oh, you know what? I just had my lunch. It was so good and just so excited with the interview. That's why I really prepared. Like, just be vocal about it and be responsive about it, because employers would really appreciate if you really talk it out from the heart. I've seen someone being sincere. Yeah, true. And non-verbally give off a warm, exciting vibe. The thing that I'm doing right now, I hope I can give justice to this. Non-verbally giving off a warm, exciting vibe. So I'm doing this. Any hand gestures. If I'll be enumerating, I'll do this 1, 2, 3. Um, all those giving off a warm, exciting vibe. Um, your your face is light up. Um, it gives that feeling of confidence, that warm. You're just so excited about things. Yes, small talks to make the interviewee feel relaxed and at ease. Thank you so much. Now, for the information gathering, of course, this is where you'll start to answer some of the basic questions so that the interviewer can give his or her follow-up questions later on. And what you wanted to do here is to deliver your elevator pitch or your introductory spiel, like Harvey's fans, I graduated with this one, in the best way possible. And hopefully you can encapsulate all of those information, basic information relevant to the job, okay, in the best way possible, in the most consistent way possible, because that's where you will try to show your wavelength for the interview by delivering your introductory spiel. And of course, that's first impression as well. Now, deliver without sounding too scripted. I know I advised you guys to kind of have a memorized elevator pitch. I think it's normal. That's why it's called elevator pitch, because it's memorized. But you have to deliver it without sounding too scripted. So have that, like variety of, let's say, intonation perhaps, wherein you take a pause and then say answers once again. Because what matters the most is your consistency of your energy while you're saying it. The second one is the coherence of your thoughts. And then the third one is the confidence of your words. So the 3 C's: consistency, coherence, and confidence. That's what this is all about once you shell out information about you. Be spontaneous, but focus and speak from the heart. Yes. Now, during the question and answer, this will be, the part wherein you gave your answers and then another question is asked, and then you have to give your answers once again. I'll give you some tips for this one. If the question is too hard that you have to think, give it a thought, okay? Because what is being assessed here is the substance of your answer, not how quick you can answer. I've seen a lot of people who are pressured to answer in a quick way, to answer in a fluent way. But that's not the case, guys. What's being assessed here is the substance of your answer. So if you feel like it's too hard to express, wow, that question is so hard. It's kind of giving me a thought. So yeah, add fillers perhaps. Look around. So I'm trying to find the right words for this. So I think, and then you could start talking about this one. All right. So just give it a thought. But at the same time, think hard, and then after that, give thoughts about it. The second one is answer questions that would give you a glimpse of your personal principle that is in line with the organization's value. Now, I know how we emphasize the VMGs of the organization, but what is the point of emphasizing the VMGs just few slides ago? We wanted to learn the VMG of the company or the organization because we wanted to pinpoint which of those are in line with the personal principles that we have. Okay, if the organization would love to fight for equality or like quality education, and that's something that you can resonate with, then mention that every time. Let's say, for example, and this is why I really applied for this company, because I can resonate with the goal of the organization, and it just amazes me that there is this safe space that I am applying for that has also the same principles that I have. It would be an honor to be able to serve for your organization, because we resonate with the same principles. And I think that's more than enough for me to be able to do what I can do best, and that is act of service for this position. So basically, anything that can resonate with you and your principles. You may pass and ask for the next question instead. Just kidding. Actually, there are some that can I get back to that question? And I think that's fine, but as much as possible, um, hopefully can answer it on the spot. What's the point of preparing, right? So that's it. Thank you so much, Faye. I love the joke here. Okay, now simplify concepts into 3 points or real life application scenarios. That would make everything seem so organized and realistic as well. If you're gonna ask, why should we hire you? You don't just say that, oh, because I'm passionate. I mean, yeah, we're all passionate. That's why we're applying, right? So what's 3 things that can make you look passionate? And that's the 3 points. So you know what? I hope that you can hire me for this position because I am passionate, especially when it comes to number 1, state it. Number 2, state it. Number 3, state it. Or a real life application scenario if you don't wanna like enumerate 3 points. So you can do this as well, real life application scenarios. Now, of course, wrapping up would mean it would be, the end of the interview. And what we wanted to do here is to ask few questions, because the act of asking our employers would mean that we are really interested for the job. That's why we are asking. So ask specific responsibilities or details that you have found vague in the job description. So I wanted to clarify that certain bullet point there in the job position that I have seen in your post, perhaps, because that would mean you are really studying. You have been researching. All right. So ask this. You can ask this, and employers would love to give you an answer, and they would be amazed if you have questions for them. I swear. The second one is ask clarification to your interviewer. If there is something that the interviewer said during the interview proper, this is the time that you can ask, all right? This would mean that you have been listening to the interviewer during the interview. The second one, ask what it is like working with the company daily, because that would mean you are interested with how everything works once you get that job. So you wanted to identify what's the day in the life of this certain job position, because that would mean you're interested to be in the company once you get that job. The third one, ask how things will proceed after the interview, because some interviewers forget to mention that, okay, just wait for us, or like this. But you know what? Ask them, may I know how we will proceed after the interview? Will I be expecting an email? Or how shall we proceed? How will I proceed as the applicant? This would mean that you're looking forward to making it, that you really wanted to be in there because you asked this. Now, yeah, I think that's it for the wrapping up. Just try to ask questions. Now, after the interview, like after the interview itself, send a personalized thank you email to the interviewer. We really appreciate that. And it gives us the idea that you are looking forward. Okay. Yes, to please display the number 2 for a minute. Sure, here. Okay, ask what it is like working with the company daily. This would mean you're interested with how everything works once you get that job. All right. Now we are actually getting closer to an end. I'll be missing you guys. Thank you so much for attending. Now give a follow-up beyond the given time frame. So let's say your employer would say, oh, expect an email from us this Friday, but they haven't emailed within Friday. So you can send them an email this Monday or next Monday. All right. So that they will be given a follow-up. Employers actually appreciate this. The third one is you can also reassess which answers could have been better delivered. It's your time to reflect as well. Which answer do you think can be improved so that you can take a mental note of it. Okay. Now, before I end, hopefully I still have a minute, Coach Jules. Will be very quick. Now, I just want to summarize everything that I have mentioned just a while ago into 3 things. And this is the first. Have the ability and let them know that you can by letting them know that you did. And these are past experiences. Have the ability, and having the ability would mean that you're capable of it. Okay? Whether it be you having the education or the training or you having the experience, like the right-hand experience, to let them know that you can by letting them know that you did. Don't be shy about your experience because it will show that you have the ability. Now, the second one is have the character. Be candid about yourself. Smile, give off that warm, welcoming vibe. Just answer truthfully, be authentic, because that will give you an edge. That will give you character. So be candid about yourself. And the third one, have your own identity. Do not aim to hit their standard. Aim to be the standard. Yes, I know it will be face value that we have to hit their standard, that we have to hit the qualification. But during the interview process, the hiring process, aim to be your own standard because employers will really appreciate that you have your own league. That's why they want you more because you are way beyond their standard because you aim to be the standard. Okay? So that's it. The world out there is not impressed by the best, most top-notch person. Because if this would be the case, I don't think a lot would have jobs, especially how, like, um, how we are being academically measured. There is only one top notcher for every batch. There will be only a few people who can get that Latin honors. But the world out there is not impressed by those, by the most top-notch person. Instead, they look for someone who has substance. And that substance is your ability, character, and identity. And I hope you can show this concretely, specifically, and proudly during the interview. Your ability, your character, and your identity. Okay? Because it's when you own your substance, you stand out when you own it. And when you stand out, you will fit into the organization. And this ends my online class for tonight. And let's ace tonight to the jobs. Cheers to the jobs that you will be applying for in the coming days, weeks, or months. To the graduates, to the graduating students, I'm excited to have you in the professional world. Thank you so much and have a great night, everyone.
Thank you very much, Coach. Do we have Q&A? We still have 10 minutes more to go, but we can have a 5-minute more to have a quick questions if you have questions. Yes. So, Coach Harvey, do you still have a Q&A, if ever, or what?
Actually, if they have questions, coach, I would love to receive their questions. But
Okay.
I think the chat box is so filled with thank yous and all. I can't seem to review. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so overwhelmed. Guys, I'm so rooting for you. Coach Jules and I are rooting for your first, first interviews.
Yeah.
Because it will be harder.
Yeah.
It will be difficult, but it will be worth it. It will be your starting point.
Okay. There we go. We get a question coming from Maureen Molina 04. What's the word optimistic? What's the word
For you,
optimistic?
like before you have a lot of negative thoughts in your mind, how can you change it into positive? This is actually a good question. um for you, Maureen, and for all of those who are here, preparing for an interview is really stressful because you don't know what to expect, especially if it's your first time. So imagine the expectation, imagine the pressure, imagine, you know just imagine all of those negativity lurking before your interview, and that could cause the self depreciation. It could be interpreted as, oh my goodness, did I prepare that much, did I prepare less? And to answer your question, Maureen, what's the word optimistic for you related to our topic? Like before interview, you have a lot of negative thoughts in your mind. How can you change it into positive? Personally, I would answer this, Maureen. The interview is just 10-20 minutes. The preparation is, or the agony of waiting is a much longer. Remind ourselves that, that's just 10 or 20 minutes of, just holding our grip together. And that's how I get through my interviews. That's how I get through my exams. Even if it's very stressful to study my exam, even if it's so stressful to talk, to wait to talk your defense panel members, or your, just your interviewer. So that's how I change my negative thoughts into positive ones. That, you know what? It's too unfair for me to feel so stressed out for a week preparing, and then preparing it, or experiencing it in just 10 to 20 minutes. So for you, Maureen, or for anyone else here, remind yourselves, if you are being anxious about it and you are allowing yourself to be very anxious about it, you're experiencing the moment or the experience twice, when it should have been only experienced once, which is during the interview. Okay? So that's it. Thank you so much, Maureen. I hope
There you
it
go.
gives justice. My answer gave justice, hopefully.
Yeah. There's a lot of questions coming in, but don't worry, guys. I think most of the questions are interrelated to about taking time to give or to gather confidence. But anyway, Coach, do you have for more personal questions you like to have a for them to send a message for you, or do you want to have some more uh, you know, individual connection, if you
Oh
will?
yeah. Actually, I'm fine with you
Mm.
guys reaching out to my LinkedIn,
Yeah, there you
hopefully.
go.
So
There you go.
I don't know how to
Yeah.
um to advocate myself or market myself, but you can see me on LinkedIn. You can send a message there. Wait, that's it. I think
Yeah.
that's my LinkedIn.
Yeah. There you go. He's an open book, guys. Just complete spelling and everything. Because in LinkedIn, you need to be really very professional. Actually, some of my interviews are they have profiled me in LinkedIn, so it could
Oh, that's
be
nice, coach.
before the interview, and then they were all of the sudden all the data in my LinkedIn were being mentioned by the HR. And they said, "Oh, they're checking on my profile, their background checking there." So,
Same, coach.
yeah,
I
yeah.
actually experienced that. I've been getting a lot of notifications recently that there has been, people viewing me, viewing my profile. That's why,
Mm.
you know what, I feel like I'm famous.
So,
Just
uh,
kidding.
yeah. Okay. Email. Okay. So it's up to you if you could give your email. So it's up to you, Coach. There's a question here,
Actually,
a
oh,
request.
okay. Oh my goodness. About my email.
Uh,
Um, we'll talk it out on LinkedIn, hopefully.
yeah, it's
Because,
good to have a LinkedIn. It's good to have
yes,
a LinkedIn. I would really
because
prefer. Mm,
yes, because I right now I have struggles with segregating
yeah.
emails. I'm handling 5 emails actually with different
Wow.
organizations, coach.
Wow.